Alright guys, welcome back. There's something we need to talk about and I'd like to talk to you guys about it today. Don't mind the hair. This is the thing, right? If you shave your head bald, it has to grow out again, and that's the stage where we're at now. My advice, don't fucking do it. It's not worth it. You don't look cool when you're bald. Today I'd like to talk to you guys about a little thing called the economy of Tarkov. It's been interesting, right? There's been loads of changes, and at this point I feel like I've had enough time to play with the new system to see just a little bit about how it functions and how good or bad it actually is. And it's pretty fucking terrible. It's basically because of two things. Number one is the found in raid. I can never say this properly. Found in raid changes. Number two, all the prices changed on the traders. For example, paracord sells for fucking nothing. For example, if you look at something like a fuel conditioner used to be 91k and now it's 30 something, which is a third of the price. Every single item you find in reserve, like the MCB, the military cables, everything's just been reduced. The changes with the traders when it comes to selling to therapist gear and then mechanic is completely fucked now. So now it's therapist, Jaeger, mechanic, ragman. Basically you just get less money for every single item you sell, and it's kind of a joke, right? So normally I'm at this point in the last wipe, I was sitting at a bank value of about 60 to 120 million, something like that. It was a lot. And the reason was I'm pretty good at PvP fights, and normally if you had a good PvP fight, you would likely make about $1 million in a raid, just from the weapons you could take apart, the armors you could actually sell on the flea market. And nowadays, as you can see, there isn't much here. Like, these are all items I found in raid, and the only things I actually keep are the ones I will be using. The rest you have to vendor. But for example, let's take this TV rig, right? You used to be able to sell a TV rig on the flea market for about, well, let's just see how much it is on the flea market. So if you have a decently okay one, 75k. If I tried to sell it to Ragman, 51. And the TV rig is the item that sells for the best value compared to any other thing on the flea market. Look at the slick. 450k on the flea market. If you sell it to the traders, it's 220k if it's not damaged at all. And the same goes for just about every item. So a full ULAC is about 80k, and you sell it to Ragman for 48, sorry. So that's yeah, 60% of what you used to get from it. So these are just a couple of the things that don't really help. Same with, let's say, the mag boxes. Nowadays 158 used to be 349. Just as a general thing, everything you find is worth less. But all the items you want to use for a meta kit, slick used to be 200 something k, now it's 450. A fully kitted HK, and the weapons, I feel like they haven't really changed that much. So it's mostly just the armor and definitely the ammo. Ammo is ridiculously expensive. I think the M995 is 50% more expensive than it used to be. Plus, you have a really big problem with, let's say, these M855. As you can see, 300 from the trader. People sell them for 1550 just because there's... Look at this. There is no fucking ammo on the flea market for this one. If you look at APSX, there is a little bit, but not very much. And if you buy it from the trader, you can get 200 rounds. And even the FMJ, always sold out. Like, this is a huge problem. It's only $2. It's always sold out because everyone just buys it in bulk. And then if you want to get it from the traders, it's 800. So that's basically the outline of the problem I have encountered. But I want to talk to you guys about what this actually means and how this has changed playstyle in Tarkov in general. So number one, if you're bad at the game and you die a lot, you will have to use rat loadouts. There is no way you can afford weapons like these. There's no way you can afford slicks or whatever. And I think that's It's a hard problem, right? Because we want Tarkov to be a hardcore game, but we also don't want to exclude any players that do want to play Tarkov. So it's something I don't know how to change, but I feel like the way it used to be was much better than the way it is now, just because of the fact, excuse me, just because of the fact that even for me as a veteran player, it's actually hard to keep my money up. Yesterday morning, I was down to 200k rubles, and I managed to make 8 million yesterday. Normally, how I would make my money is by going to customs, fighting in dorms, and just slapping people, selling their loadouts. Now, I'm not as good as someone like Landmark to survive so many raids that I can actually just keep going in as a Chad and still make millions and millions of rubles. Because I die one time every 3 raids, 4 raids, normally, if it's going well. But with the head eyes meta, it doesn't go well. So I lost about 4.5 to 6 million in loadouts, which is only like 4 or 5 loadouts the day before yesterday. So it's kind of difficult, but now I had to make money, and I thought, okay, what do I actually preach on my YouTube channel? And that's a couple of loot runs. So we decided to do one of the loot runs I have told you guys about on the channel a couple of months ago, which is a reserve loot run. You basically go in naked, you're taking these keys, not even all of them, because these 2 I bought later on. Just with these keys, you can make so much money, it's actually ridiculous. And I would just go in, try and melee a scav or whatever. It's a fun way to play the game, in my opinion, but it's also a bit of a shame that it's necessary, even if you have about 50% survival rate while questing. I don't think many people have that. So if I look at these situations, I always look at my own experience and then think, okay, what if I was a little bit worse at the game? It would be difficult. So right now it looks like you don't really have the opportunity of making money while running Chad loadouts. Because let's face it, you might think, okay, here's the thing, right? You have Chad loadouts now, you have some money, it makes it easier for you to survive a raid. This is very true. I always say this myself as well, but the problem is, you do survive more raids with a slick and an exfil and a good weapon. Yes. But it costs you about 1.5 million rubles to run, for example, a meta HK with a slick and exfil and whatever. Let's say that loadout is 1 million rubles, right? So you're looking at something like this M4, a slick, an exfil, and a black rock full of 60 mags, right? And a couple of VOGs, whatever. Let's say that's 1 million rubles. I was looking at good raids I had with good PvP where I kill like 2 or 3 people. And normally I make around anywhere between 300 to 400k if it's a really stacked raid where I have, for example, a TV rig like that and a black rock, and then these are just completely full with stuff like grenades, attachments, and whatever. 300 to 400, 500k if I'm really lucky. So that means if you do 3 raids, you will make back 1 loadout. So you would have to win 4 times for every time you die, and then you start making money. But let's be honest here, who the fuck has more than 75% survival rate? Not many people do. I'm sitting at 50%. I was at least yesterday, 51 yesterday. But with the naked runs, obviously you're going to die a little bit more. This stat doesn't really matter much, but it just shows that if you survive 50% of your raids and you go in loaded, you would have to, you'd basically have to make on average more than 1 million on a good run. And that is something that doesn't happen, and that's something that did happen before. One little caveat I would like to add here is that we have added a couple of raids to the channel. Because I can already hear people say, yeah, Eddie, but you just uploaded a 1.5 million ruble profit raid to the YouTube channel. Why is that? Because I killed raiders. So nowadays, if you kill raiders, it's basically like it used to be when killing PMCs. You can sell the ammo, you can sell the rigs, you can sell the armor, you can sell the weapons, attachments, everything. And then all of a sudden, you have a good run, you make 1.5 million rubles, and everything feels right again. Because a very good run is actually a very good run. There's nothing more frustrating than going into a very good run, feeling like you've had a very good run, then selling everything and you see it's 325,000 rubles and you're like, I can't even afford another slick with that. So that's a little side note, because it was much easier, right? If you killed 4 or 5 good people, you would just stack a beta in here, then another beta in there, whatever. And that way you would be able to just have this extra row. It's not the same as it used to be. But the way I make my money now is with that naked run on reserve, and I will make a separate video on that run to show you guys how I did it, because I feel like you sometimes have to do it now. And this brings me to the point of this video. I feel like at this point on Tarkov, if you're not Landmark or Quattro Ace or whoever, you kind of have to separate two things. You have raids where you go for PvP for fun, and you have downtime where you actually have to make back your money. And I don't know what to think about this, because if this is the thing that Battle State Games wants us to do, then maybe it's not that big of a deal if you just accept that you have to go about things like that. But on the other hand, it makes it a lot less fun and kind of like a chore to have to go into raids and just make money for the sake of making money. Like, we all agree that the found-in raid changes are there for a reason. I hate them. I don't think they're a good game addition at all. The thing I do like about them is for task items to be found in raid, you have to find them and not die. I think that's okay. But then it should only work for tasks and shouldn't be there for, let's say, armor items you find and you want to sell on the flea market. Because obviously they have done that probably because of the... Well, I feel like they've done it to counter the real money trading, but I don't think this was the right thing to do. In my opinion, it's just a little bit too hard to make money now in Tarkov while running full loadouts. And isn't that the thing in the end, what we all want? Chatting around, at least for me it is. I like to go into PvP, especially in the end game, just because of the fact that that's the fun part about Tarkov. For me, is the gunplay. Once you've done all the tasks and you have your kappa, I mean, you don't get your kappa just to do more naked loot runs or loot runs with a hunter, right? Or at least that's the way it is for me. I would love to hear your guys' opinion on this. If there's anything I can do apart from making that loot run guide, please let me know. I feel like we need to talk about these things to give Battle State Games a good understanding of how we feel about things, and maybe some of you guys have great ideas, because honestly, apart from just changing it where you can... Well, let me say this. If I was Battle State Games, I would just say, fuck it, we're going to take the found in raid items. I would just say, fuck it, we're going to take the found... Let me just say this. If I was Battle State Games, I would say, fuck it, we will take the find in raid status of armor and weapons, attachments and whatever, to just let your player base sell the stuff on the flea market, the stuff they found, man. This is... I understand that it has to do with the real money trading, but this is a little bit too far. Keep the found in raid status for quest items, just to have a nice little addition to that, depth to that. But other than that, I don't think they're on a good track right now. The trader values are absolutely disgusting now. A mag box for 150k doesn't sit well with me, especially because of the fact that in order to make it, you need quite a few items, and there's no real way to make money with this anymore. 60k, double 60k here, which is 120k. These are now 40, so you're already at a loss, right? And you used to be able to craft this mag case for a profit. Now you have it still costs the same to make, but now you don't have any money coming back from that. So I would never recommend making this, except for if you have emptied the fuel tank yourself in your generator. Then you can think about it, but other than that, I don't have very much to add to this. Please let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think are some things they can do to improve the current state of the economy meta, if you will. And number one, do you think Tarkov is more fun now, or do you think Tarkov was more fun when the prices were higher for selling for traders and there was still no found in raid status. Thank you guys a lot for watching. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Eddy, out.